frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Be Exposed Radio.
It's a family affair if you want to look at it that way.
It is. I totally agree, and I believe I believe that this wisdom on the wall is going to be a movement, and that's what I believe we are doing. Is we're creating a movement where people essentially, even after we've presented in these workshops, then they'll be inspired to sort of document some of the things that they've gone through and empower somebody else. So it'll be like a chain effect. So they'll see that, we were just 3 women who have gone through various things and experiences in our lives, and we just took the opportunity to sit down, put it in a book, and then it'll be a movement, and then other women will be inspired to do the same thing. Let me tell you, we are better together. We are so much better together, family. I'm telling you. When we band together, put our resources and our experiences together, we can create a movement, and that's what it's about, inspiring people to do more than what they may currently see of their own lives, that they can do so much more. So yeah,
you are exactly right.
Be Inspired Radio Show. Tune in every Wednesday from 7 to 9
Check out this flashback from Sunset Soul Radio.
All of us have to take personal accountability.
I can't take responsibility for this.
I didn't say responsibility. I said accountability.
We can't. Everybody can't take accountability.
You're not accountable to the body of Christ.
Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Starts now. Hey, what's up? And welcome to the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. How you doing? Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. Shout out to my sponsors this month, Mr. Rebel Rel Radford and Mr. Kareem Moore. You can find them both at Facebook and Instagram. Kareem at Humble K and Rebel Rel Radford on Instagram and on Facebook as well. So, first of all, I'm sweating profusely. It's too damn hot outside. I don't know who messed up and pissed off Mother Nature, but she not having it. And it's an abnormal type of heat where it's no real bright sun outside. It's just humid as hell, and it's annoying. As you can see, I have my second set of eyes back. And I'll be going under LASIK in 2 months, and I prolonged it because I'm really not into that, so I had to wear my glasses. I couldn't wear my glasses until I had the exam, and then now I'm with 4 eyes. Shout out to, well, first of all, today is the 5th anniversary celebration of the Artist Exchange Radio Show. We'll have a guest later on in the top of the next hour. She'll be here. But shout out, I didn't want to make this about everybody else today. I just wanted to do the show as normal and really just very grateful for this 5 years, this journey, this I don't know what to call it, but it's definitely been a journey, a test of my patience, my creativity. There have been plenty of times where I wanted to just let it go because it became too much, and I felt like it was taking me away from my ultimate goal, which was to be a actor and a director. And I found so many open doors to be able to do what it is that I wanted to do on my terms. Radio has definitely given me that opportunity. Given me that opportunity to be able to do so. So I'm really thankful and blessed. And every year I give thanks for, I'm sorry, I can't do 2 things at once. I've learned that also. But I give thanks to the many individuals that, one, support this show and give me so much love, and to all the people who have been sponsors and advertisers, and the many guests that have taken time out of their schedule to be a part of it. The many people that continue to support despite me changing my time, and I can still see people tuned in and still logged in. So I really appreciate all the people that come out. Hey, Miss Jacqueline, shout out Not Reaching. And I'm still waiting on that project too. So I'm really grateful, one, to one of my really good friends, one of my best friends, Jana, for starting this show with me. The number of co-hosts that I've had over the couple years. Shout out to everybody who continues to support. If you're listening in right now, please share this out. This is the 5th year anniversary for the Artist Exchange Radio Show, and I'm so thankful to be at Be Exposed, because I've been through a lot of other stations and me preparing to actually do my own show, and I didn't get the treatment nor the time and attention that I've gotten here in terms of how I've grown, and just got the freedom to grow as I saw fit. And then Be Exposed is definitely changing, as you can see, with the awesomeness of the advances that we've had here. So shout out to everybody who continues to support and listen in. So I want everybody to show some love today. So if you got some love to give, send it to me, because I need it. I'm really thankful. No. Oh my God. No, we're not in Graffiti Alley. We're actually at the studio, but because Monty has this awesome green screen, it looks like we're in Graffiti Alley, but we're not. We're right down at 200 East Lexington Street, Suite 711. This is our new space. So if you want to be booked on the show, definitely hit me up. Let me know if you want to be on. Yeah, Miss Jacqueline, I am ready. I'm waiting for that. No, not Graffiti Alley, Shauna. We're down at the studio on Lexington Street. But we have a number of hot topics that I wanted to get to today as well. Is a number of things I wanted to talk about. One, the Nas comeback. He left a long, lengthy, I think it was a 6-part message on Instagram, talking to his ex-wife Khalees. We're going to talk about the Fudgery closing down at the Harbor. I'm really feeling some kind of way about that. Ariana Grande and the Bishop. I'll be actually hosting a talkback for a play called Wasted that'll be at Center Stage. I'll be doing that tonight, hosting their first talkback. And the play deals with sexual assault, consent, and rape culture. And I wanted to get a little bit into the Ariana Grande versus the Bishop at Aretha Franklin's funeral. Get into that a little bit in a different way. The new Nike deal. I had an awesome Nike shirt on, my fresh Nike shirt, but because of the green screen, it was clashing, so I had to change my shirt. Shout out to the gift shop at the, what's the name of the museum down the street? It's gonna jump in my head, but the Black History Museum down at Reginald F. Lewis, that's it. Reginald F. Lewis Museum. I got this awesome t-shirt from them, and they actually sell them there. But I was at a program, and one of the people that was giving the program got me this awesome shirt, and they sell them at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. And it says, "Nah," quote by Rosa Parks. They have a couple of shirts like this, and they're really awesome. I actually wore this shirt on Friday, but I had to change because it was clashing. Speaking of being hot, okay. Speaking of being no AC in the school. A little recap of the Bobby Brown biopic, and the ex-Cosby actor that's stirring up the internet with his side hustle. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on Be Exposed Ready. You said 3 minutes? So we're doing this new thing where I had to listen and talking and reading. I'm not a multitasking that way, so I'm learning. It's still a journey. Maybe 5 years from now, I'll have this down pat. But those are the hot topics that we'll be talking about today. Again, shout out to everybody that's tuned in. Please share this out. I need your support here on the Artist Exchange. It's very hard to do this twice a week, and I've been doing it, and I've rarely missed any days, and if I miss days, trust and believe, it's because I'm working. And I think out of the 5 years, I think I took 1 sick day. So I really have been really dedicated to this, and I'm really looking for support in continuing this. And I need everybody that listens in, that comes and sit down with me, everybody to come and support. And support meaning I don't need you to necessarily advertise with us. That's be awesome. That I'm not saying don't do that. But what I'm saying is I really need your help in sharing this out, supporting the show, letting people know, sending us your guest picks. If you know any people that would want to come sit next to me and talk and share their story, definitely hit me up at the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only at BeExposedRadio.com. Jacqueline says, really need to talk about the Carnival hearings because this guy is going to set black people back to pre-civil rights. Yeah. So we're going to have to come on soon and talk more about that. Yeah, I heard you say Green Springs. Cool. The Alliance for Justice in D.C. doing a great work for advocacy and justice. So definitely, and I want everybody to talk to me more. Today I'm going to try to focus on this. I've been getting a lot of notes that I don't talk on this as much. So I'm going to try to as we go along, but it's multitasking. So we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to get some of that cookie ice cream cake. Shout out to my girl Denise that works at Safeway for hooking me up with an awesome 5th anniversary cookie cake. So I'm about to go bite into that. And I got some wine. I don't know how this is going to do. I'm already sweating. I haven't eaten anything, so I'm trying to eat something. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing!
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. And you might just see this. Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Here's what you missed on Salacious Life Radio.
You know, when it comes to your children, especially if you're dating someone that you actually like, you do want it to work. So you're gonna hope and encourage the relationship between your child and that person because you like that person, you know, so you're gonna hope for the best. I mean, sometimes it just doesn't work and you can't make it work. You can't force it. It's like a branch. You keep bending it, eventually it'll snap, and even if you put it back together, it'll never be what it once was. But you definitely pray on it. You hope for the best, you know, because like nobody wants to spend the rest of their life alone just because a particular relationship didn't work out, but you had this beautiful creature as a result of it, you know. But you don't want to necessarily spend and you're not all of a sudden a bad person. You're not all of a sudden not going to fulfill this other person's needs.
You, madam, are a harlot and a scoundrel.
Because I had one kid while I was still married. Like,
but what if you?
I take that back.
What if the situation turns around the other way? So you ready for your child to meet? They meet the person, and this person is a giver. So this person's buying your child lots of gifts and wanting to.
I would usually.
Do you let?
You don't like if it's a birthday or some sort of holiday or something like that. Okay, and they want to get them a few things or get them something. Okay, but just on like a regular basis, like unless it's like Nestle's Quick or something that you can get from, like, you know what I'm saying, or like Kit Kats or something like that. Like, no, don't spend a lot of money
It's
on.
unrealistic. I'm sorry.
It's unrealistic. Like, don't
like
try to buy his.
Tune in live to Salacious Life Radio every Wednesday from 9 to 11, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
We're rewarding you for something you already do, listening to us. It's Radio Loyalty, and it's an easy way for you to get free stuff. All you do is sign up. Go ahead and click the banner now. You'll earn points as you listen. Points you can trade in for great products and services in the Radio Loyalty store. You can earn even more points when you share your favorite station with friends on Facebook and Twitter. Radio Loyalty. It's free to sign up, so click the banner to join now.
It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to today's graduation ceremony. Students, when you hear the reason or reasons for your absences throughout the years, please exit the auditorium without your high school diploma. Once you've exited, remove your cap and gown and proceed into the unknown. Too tired. Family trip. Part-time job. Helping around the house. Sick day. Starting the holidays early. Just because.
Starting in the 6th grade, students who miss 18 days or more of school in a year for any reason will fall behind and risk not graduating high school. How many days of school has your child missed this year? Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org today. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
There's a rumor going around that Tyler Perry and Oprah are beefing. Well, let me tell you about this. Tyler, okay, told Oprah, bitch, if you don't have my money, we're going to have a problem. Ooh. Oprah said, what is the problem? Ooh. You said if I don't have your money, there was going to be a problem. So Oprah is standing her ground like, bitch, I'm in charge. Yeah, you know, you may have a $250 million studio over there that you film all your shows and movies and stuff on, but I have the empire. That's what Oprah said.
Oh, these are her exact words. Allegedly.
I made this up. But
allegedly.
I made it all up. But there was...
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Look us up on any podcast service like iTunes, Google, Spotify, and many more. Search for Be Exposed Radio and catch up with us on your schedule. So welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show. I'm sitting here, I'm trying to add individuals to this. Shout out to Sharon, I see you. Miss Janimba. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. I really appreciate everybody for all the likes and support and continuing to support the show. We are looking for entrepreneurs, artists, individuals, community leaders to come on and be our guests. So definitely come on by, shout us out. We're looking for you, so definitely come on. And you can hit us up at the Artist Exchange Radio Show at gmail.com if you want to be featured. We have some awesome guests coming up for the month of September and October. So definitely stay tuned for that. And on Mondays, I'll be having a guest host, Mama Linda, come in. And she'll be interviewing... I drank that like it was water. But she'll be interviewing a few elders. She's working on a project at the Peel Center, and she's spotlighting many of the storytellers and seniors in the Baltimore community that have been connected to the culture and storytelling and griot. She's the president of the Griot Society, and I've joined forces with her for the next 2 months. And she'll be coming on interviewing a number of the seniors. We had a last show, Mr. Mullock came on, very inspirational gentleman, learned a lot from him. And we'll be talking to a number of individuals. Get the tissue off the table. Who is this? Giving me notes. Sharon, I need this tissue. You see this wine? I need it. It's making me sweaty, so I need it. So, Yeah. You should have came on to the show, but she probably busy. She working or something. Shout out, before we get into our topics, I want to give a shout out to Appreciate the Arts. They're hosting their kickoff to their second Sticky Bun Festival tonight at Open Works. You have to go to the Eventbrite and look up Sticky Bun Festival Kickoff Party, and you have to register because it's invite only. And I think that's going to be open for the next hour or so. As well as the Sticky Bun Festival is tomorrow from 12 to I believe 6. So definitely come on out, support. It was phenomenal last year. I won't be hosting this year, but I'm gonna find a way to get up on that stage and say what I gotta say. So definitely come on out for that. And if you're on, please share, invite your artists, friends, your community leaders, so they can see what we're doing here down at the Artist Exchange Radio Show. And also, if you're looking to start your own show, if you have a show, you're looking for a new home, you had a show, you want to bring it back, and looking for a place to do so, or if you have an idea for a show, either way, hit me up, info@beexposedradio.com, in the subject box, say, Nate, I want a show, and we can help you get that. So our first topic, I think I want to talk about the Fudgery closing first. So I just got news. I was sent an email. Anybody who ever worked at the Fudgery, they was kind of circulating on Facebook to come on down. This Sunday will be their last day. And unfortunately, they're closing down. But the Fudgery has been down at the Pavilion, the Light Street Pavilion, for about 30 years. I think they got down there maybe 5 years after the Pavilion had actually opened up. And they had finished rehabbing the Inner Harbor. What we know today is the Inner Harbor. And it's been a major staple. One of our biggest music groups that came out of Baltimore, Drew Hill, got their start there. You could have found Cisco and I believe Nokio and Woody. They were actually singers down at the Fudgery, and it's actually closing. And it's like out of the blue. It was no lead up to them. I'm quite sure the employees knew. Say it again. Yeah, they worked there. They were all. I think those 3 members actually worked there, and the 4th member did not. I don't think he worked there. But I remember seeing them there. I remember when they first got signed, they actually did a performance down there. So it's been kind of a major staple. I know plenty of singers that may not have gotten the notoriety of Drew Hill or any of their members, but they definitely are on Broadway now. They've done TV, film. A number of singers who actually have albums and stuff out right now. So I definitely wish everybody go down there and support. And I really hope that they kind of take a second thought and closing it down. Now, what happened was the chain actually started here in Baltimore, and they have, I want to say, when I looked it up, I think like 27 other locations, or this was the first one, and they have 26 other locations. That includes now at the National Harbor. So when they opened up the one at the National Harbor, I think it probably did so well because they didn't have anything like that there. And the National Harbor is still fairly new. It's been open for a couple years. But they're shutting this one down because that one probably is pulling in more revenue. But they should rethink. They have not changed. The Fudgery has looked the same since I started going down there. So I really think they should really rethink closing it, but just kind of revamp it and do something different with it and actually make it a part of what is happening. I think they should like maybe do like a Facebook Live, a few hours out of the day, or like just stream it live every day. I think that would bring so much more attention to the Fudgery. A number of singers that I went to school with and know personally got their start down there, and everybody wanted to audition for the Fudgery, and not everybody made it because you really had to sing and be able to sing. So unfortunately, they're closing down, and I really think everybody should show up and show out because I think the CEO is actually coming down on Sunday also. So get into his ear, really bug them, because the Fudgery is, I mean, I don't think anybody buys anything from the Fudgery, and I think that's the problem. So I think they need to do something more, like sell other stuff in addition to fudge. I know it's the fudgery, but sell other things that kind of coincide, like brownies or some other sweets like cookies and stuff like that. But they are blaming it on the reconstruction that the pavilion is doing, the Light Street Pavilion is doing, and both of the pavilions, actually, the Pratt Street and the Light Street Pavilion, is going under. So I think recently Five Guys closed down, the Great Cookie, a number of places have closed down, and they're supposed to be bringing like a Build-A-Bear, and what else was on that list? I forgot what else was on that list, but they're bringing like a lot of chain. Of course, the touristy areas are always chain restaurants, larger chain restaurants, but it will be unfortunate that they don't show up. Part of your interview process was you had to sing. Yeah, well, that was the interview process. Like, they didn't care what your personality was. They just wanted you to sing. I auditioned twice to actually be in the and the second time when I got a call back, I actually got another job. So I never got to work there, but the process was you had to sing, and it was very because you had to sing in front of people. It wasn't like you was in a back room somewhere. It was like on the spot. Let me hear you sing. And it's unfortunate that a lot of the places like that are closing down. And I don't want to make it a race issue, but if Becky with the good hair had got her start there, I think they would still be open. But it's largely been black singers down there. So unfortunately, I haven't been to the one at the National Harbor, but I'm gonna have to take a look up there. I'm gonna have to take a look and go up and see it, see how they're doing. But I'm quite sure they're doing fairly well because they're still new. And it's probably I didn't even know they had opened it up, so it couldn't have been. I was there like a year and a half ago, so they couldn't have been open that long. But they probably doing a lot better. But I hope they really help out the people that they had working there instead of just closing it down and giving them a couple of weeks severance pay. The next topic is, I want to just touch on real quick the no AC in the schools. Being someone who worked in schools as an art teacher, I'll start with, I was in school when Mayor Schmoke was in office, and the only way you got out of school if the temperature hit 100 or if the snow was too high for you to walk. That was the only way you got out of school. But a lot of people are complaining that child has to go to school. They don't have to go to school. A lot of the parents that probably were children when I was in school are complaining that their children are being left out of school. But I don't understand how is it that all summer long, none of the maintenance teams or anything, I don't know if they reported. I was trying to find out, and I actually called up to the school board, and I didn't get a response yet. But how is it that nobody checked on this? And if you were having issues last year with the heating system, it's the same system. I would think, why wouldn't you think to test the AC out all summer long? And most of the schools had summer schools in them, and they normally don't turn the air on for summer schools. Sometimes you're not gonna be in the air if they didn't have a good AC system, or if it's not a big summer school program, they're not gonna turn the air on. But they had summer school, so I'm quite sure the air was probably on for other things. I'm quite sure the principal office had air, and so on and so forth. But why is it that nobody checked to see this? And on the very first day of school, you close early. Like, I can understand a lot of parents being upset and kind of distraught because after if your child in high school, it's probably fine because they probably coming home. But if your child in elementary school and middle school, you got to go pick them back up. So you drop them off, and 4 hours later, you're turning right back around, probably getting off of work early to go pick up your child. And it's an inconvenience. And I believe today was probably like the first full day of school. But there were still schools that got out early. And I don't understand why you are bringing them to school to turn them back around, opposed to saying, you know what, we're going to open up a week later, or we're going to open up 2 weeks later, or actually fixing the damn problem during the summertime. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I have yet to even hear I think there was some message that I didn't hear official message from Pugh, the mayor. I didn't hear her official statement, but somebody paraphrased her by saying, we are aware of the problem now. We're taking every step to fix the problem. But why is the awareness coming after the fact? Like, now these are days that the children are going to have to make up some way and somehow at the end of the school year. But that's the Baltimore City government for you. They're doing a lot to not do anything. But I'm trying to read that at the same time. But if you're on here, send me your questions. If you have any comments about the Fudgery closing down or the no AC, probably no heat in the school system, just hit me up on the messenger. You can call us at 410-8037. Is it 410-702-5657. Call us up. Let us know. Talk to us. How much time do we have left in this segment? 2 minutes. The next segment, we're going to touch on the Nas response. He wrote I'll just get a little bit into it. On IG, I believe yesterday, he wrote a long response to his wife, Khalees, and her accusations that he has physically abused her. And she's been on a couple TV interviews where she talked about her being beat by Nas. And she actually said the day that the news broke about Rihanna and Chris Brown, when he allegedly beat Rihanna, he had hit her that day. They were sitting there watching the news, and he had hit her that day. And that was when she realized, while they were sitting down watching the news about it, she realized that was her time, that she had to leave. So she made a really strong accusation, and his comeback was, he's been quiet about everything, about the cheating, about all that, because that was the truth. He fessed up to that. I did cheat, I did do X, Y, Z, but I've never hit her. And that was basically his statement on Instagram. And he said this is the last time he's going to address it. And it's a shame that she has basically used this movement as kind of leverage for her to get full custody of their children. They're supposedly in court now, or they were in court, and he won partial custody for it. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll talk more about the Nas, and I'll try to read some of the statement when we come back. Don't go anywhere. The Artist Exchange Radio Show only on BigExposedRadio.com. Check out this flashback from the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
So you're your biggest asset. You have to practice self-care. Every entrepreneur has to practice self-care. You have to release yourself from toxic situations.
Explain to us real quick, what is a toxic situation?
A toxic situation is something that will control your mind, something that hurts you, something that you have to battle. Toxic, hurt. If you're in a toxic situation, if you get hurt, if you get pain, if you get struggle, right? And if your spirit does not align correctly, that may be a toxic situation. So when I say you make that jump when your values don't align, you make decisions based on your values. And if those decisions don't align with your values, then that's when you say no.
Tune into the Artist Exchange every Friday 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. live on BigExposedRadio.com.
Be Exposed Radio.
Well, if you made them, take care of them.
Yeah, that's
period.
The real. Right. That's the real deal.
It's period.
Right. And all that money shouldn't go toward this, money should go to, if the child is with one of the parents 24/7, 7 days a week, you don't even come get your child every day. You come get your child once a month maybe, or once every 3 months.
Right.
You cannot dictate where that money goes, especially if the child ain't calling you about nothing. Now, if the child calling you every week, then you can question about where the child support is going. But if every time you pick up the child, they look nice, they ain't complaining about nothing, why are you worrying about where the money go at?
It is what it is. Radio show.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Join the Just a Bit Outside crew every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
You want to start off?
I think I'll get it out of the way on a who's not.
Okay, do it.
The Orioles.
Right.
They got swept by the Royals. They lost 4 in a row, and the last 5 games have all been decided by 1 run.
Mm-hmm.
The game before, or the last game that they lost before the Royals was the Nationals, and it was Weeders, of course, won with a home run.
Hit the home run.
Right.
They were going into that national series. It seemed like they were doing so well, and they just crapped out.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the Artist Exchange radio show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. Shout out to everybody tuned in. My Aunt Val is a former employee of Baltimore City, and as an employee of the Baltimore City public school system, most of our schools are over 60 years old, and to install AC would cost a small fortune, so the old buildings are not able to have window units because the entire electrical system would have to be upgraded. Years ago, we never had air, but our tails were in school all day. That's my Aunt Val, and she recently retired from the Baltimore City school system as one of the managers in the, I think she went around in kind of the maintenance department to the various schools, and that's what I'm saying. I remember a time when it was hot, it was cold, it was chilly, it was raining, it was damp, it was humid, but you were in class. And I think especially what has just recently happened with the AC unit, and it was very cold in the classrooms. There were times where we had our coats on in class. That's why often you bought sweaters for your child to wear, and you layered your children up because it may be cold. Now I understand that the buildings are very old and outdated, but what has happened, and maybe my aunt can kind of answer this question as well, what happened to the maintenance in terms of updating it as it went along, or it was just like, we can't do this? And I understand a lot of the buildings can't get AC units, but I've walked past I've been in a couple principal offices and they had AC units in their windows. So I'm trying to understand. I recently, a few months ago, I went to a programming meeting before the summer actually started, and I went to this programming meeting for teaching artists, and that they're adding that to STEM, so STEAM again, and they're adding arts, trying to incorporate the arts. And one of the things was they're trying to incorporate larger classrooms back into the system, and in doing so, a lot of the schools are being updated. And we met at elementary, middle school. You haven't been to White Lock, that whole complex of apartments is now demolished, and they built an entire new school. They tore down the school that was already there, and they built up what looks like a small college campus on that one school, a micro campus on that in the place of the school that was already there, and it's brand spanking new. And I don't have an issue with us building new schools because it probably be much cheaper. You said what? Yeah, but I don't. Me personally, I don't have an issue with them building new schools, but don't do it in a way where these children are still having to do it. You need to build larger schools where they can bring these children in, and think about some of the larger schools that we already have, what it would take to make just those buildings up to date and bring them up to standard. But just eliminating the schools that we have, I think is crazy. And just, if you go spend the money, you might as well spend the money anyway. So what happens to the children that don't go to those, aren't able to go to those schools? And I actually was a part of the lottery system where, you know, you were randomly picked. And I understood because I had friends that wanted to get into the school, and I didn't necessarily want to get into the school, but because of the lottery system, I got into the school. And I don't want that system to be brought back, or I want that to be done away with. And I think all children should have to go through it. And for a long time, they said people who weren't, the areas where people were not voting, weren't registered to vote, and people weren't paying taxes, where the schools were getting shut down the most, and where schools weren't being rehabbed. But if you can knock down that school that was in White Marsh, I said White Marsh because I know that school's not being knocked down. But if you were the school that's right there in Whitelock, or the school on Key Highway, those schools that just got totally rehabbed and refurbished, if they can do that, then they can do this with the rest of the schools. And I would love to hear what the plan is, but they're not telling anybody what the plan is to rebuild these schools and demolish the schools that are already there and rebuild new schools. So I think that needs to be something that is part of the agenda. But what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to, no, they're not charter schools, they're public schools. And the idea of the charter schools they're trying to demolish charter schools because it's costing the city way too much money to keep up with they're saying that it costs more money to have a classroom with 15 to 20 students. It costs more to have that, whereas though it's only probably 200 to 300 students in the entire school versus a school that has maybe 30 to 40 children in the classroom and it's probably 500 to 600 students. It's much cheaper to have that many students versus that, because they're saying that the resources that are being allocated to each school is costing them too much, whereas though they have double the amount of schools and less students to give the same resources to. But if you were going to give resources to those schools anyway, what's the problem? But that's just me. But I'm trying to pull up the Nas statement, and I'm trying my best to hurry up and do it. Mr. Nasir. So he wrote on, it's not saying when he wrote, but I think this may be it. It's not it. So I'm just going to pull it up and read it directly from what I have. I think this may be the last one, no, part 7. So it says, part 1, the price I paid to see my son, and apologies in advance for the typos as I'm speaking from the heart as a man who has had enough. Today I got a call from Essence about my ex-wife doing another sad fictitious story. Nothing surprises me anymore, including this. This is what your life has come to, sis. Exploiting some people's real struggle and pain just to get at me. To get attention, fame, another fight against men. We are a human family and we should be better examples to our sons. Why is there even an issue for me to have? Why is this even an issue for me to have time with my son? A son needs his father. So many absentee fathers out here, and here I am being attacked by your accusations simply because I got us in court to help fix this custody matter. So they're in court right now battling over custody of their over their son, and he doesn't mind having joint custody, but the problem has been his schedule and her schedule not aligning, so they could kind of possibly transfer the child from person to person, from parent to parent rather. Why did I have to take you to court to see our son? Why, when I win the joint custody, which is a win for both of us and our son, it helps us with both of our schedules. Why do you feel that an attack on you? Why do you feel that is an attack on you? It is a control issue you have. Why do you need to have control over my life? Because we're not together? Then why is this being rewarded and praised by people who are being taken advantage of by you and your lives? To all separate couples out there who are cordial and co-parent nicely, good for you. I wish that was me. I'm the most chill, cool parent there is who has time to argue about what? It's about our little guy. You haven't had to deal with what I've been dealing with. Trust me. I'm a mild man, a God-fearing, very fair man, being who tries his hardest to please everyone. It's my nature. I've seen this too many times before, and there was times I thought Khalees, my ex-wife, was not this type. This is the type of antics and deceitfulness people mistakenly call it strong. Seems I always had more belief in you than you do. So this was one of 7 parts that Nas had on his Instagram, and I'm on his page right now. But I think the problem is I don't know why you can't see the post that he had. So he wrote on there. He wrote this in his comment section. But this is an issue that I saw growing up, and it's the other side of the story for parents. I never had to deal with my mother saying anything derogatory about my father, and she gave me an opportunity to see who my father was. Unfortunately, my brother grew up in a relationship with him. So I've seen several parents play this the wrong way. And I just saw a meme the other day that said child support is for absentee fathers, not for broken relationships with the mother. And this situation kind of speaks to that, because I saw the first interview that Khalees did with Hollywood Unlocked, where she states that he was very verbally and physically abusive. And if you read these comments and they're still on his page, and there's 7 of them. If you go to his page, you'll see this long 7-part message to Khalees, and I'm quite sure it's to Khalees. And what is sad is I think that child is old enough to probably have his own Instagram page to be able to see this argument as well. But what are you supposed to do, especially as a man, when you're being allegedly lied on and accused of something that you are saying you did not do? What, in this generation of Me Too, what happens to the man who is falsely accused? And I can't speak for I think justice needs to be dished out in all the scenarios where this is happening to women, where they're losing their voice, they're losing their power, they're being sexually assaulted and raped, molested, so on and so forth. I think this has to happen. But what happens when someone falsely accuses? And I say this because I've sit in a courtroom and watched my uncle be falsely accused of rape, raping a woman who he was sitting in his room getting high. He was sitting in his house getting high with, and she then charged him after the fact, and he refused to pay her. So she went to the police and said he raped her. And in court, she testified eventually, after maybe sitting there for about 3 hours in this court case, and she testified and finally told the truth and said why she accused him of rape. And I watched him almost lose his freedom because of it. I also sit in a principal's office with my youngest uncle and watched him go through the same thing with a young lady who accused them of rape, him and his best friend, of raping her because neither one of them wanted to talk to her. And they didn't want to date her, or they didn't want to be with her. So she accused my uncle of raping her. And then in both situations, I saw the woman then recant her story right in our face and tell us why they lied. And accusing a man of rape has been a weapon that's been used for a number of years. And I'm not saying I'm not even saying the majority of these cases are for that reason, or it's happening that way, or this is the reason why it's happening. But I'm saying a lot of these cases are bitter women. And now we have cases, we have a theater company here in Baltimore where there is a gay organization, a gay theater company, a LGBTQ, I'll say LGBTQ friendly theater company that does LGBTQ themed productions. And the creative director is being accused by one of the former members of doing the same thing. And it's being said that he's only doing this because I don't know why. The real reason isn't being made clear, but he's doing the same thing. And it said, hello again? But it's definitely a problem that I'm seeing happening over and over and over again. And I'm not speaking to the individuals that are guilty. I'm speaking to the individuals that are being falsely accused. So I don't want my name to be muddied up. And we just had that with the gentleman, Mr. Andre, that's the head of the, we about to go to break. Yeah, we can wait for the segment. But we're at a space where this is happening. And I've said on this show before, I actually admitted on this show that I was molested. So I'm seeing both sides of this argument. But I also see how a lot of these situations, women are using that word rape or sexual assault or consent as a weapon. And it's not true in some of these cases. And it's a very small case. But we are now seeing over the last like 10 years where men are being let out of jail after doing 5, 10, 20, 30 years in jail for being falsely accused of rape. That's a problem. People are losing their livelihoods, their freedoms over a lie. And when she did and I'm not in Khalees or Nas's marriage or their divorce or their relationship. I don't know either of them personally, but something about that interview just did not ring true to me. One, I'm not saying Hollywood Unlocked is not reputable, but the subject matter that they talk about, for you to go to Hollywood Unlocked and do this special report on it, it kind of didn't ring true to me. Especially when you've been in and out of court with Nas for the last couple years as it's being reported, and you never brought this up as an issue, and you chose to bring it up as an issue on Hollywood Unlocked, where they do salacious stories about celebrities, gossip, and so on and so forth. So that's the problem that I'm having with this. And as I've read over each part this morning of Nas's report, and I've heard this from several men. Like, I don't want you, so why are you mad? And then they keep the child from the other parent, in a way of kind of like a bargaining tool. And the child is then used as this kind of bartering, if you give me what I want, then I'll give you what you want. And it's like a control issue that a lot of these mothers have over their children. And I've seen some instances where the dad is doing it too, because he has more power than it is. And he laid out in this argument on his Instagram page where even the lawyers that are defending her in this trial don't want to work with her no more. And she is now making it about a financial issue in the court and about the abuse outside of court, public opinion, in a way where if you damage his image, what can he then do for his child? Everything that he has, and we've seen how with Cosby and a number of other black entertainers, once their name is damaged in the area of rape or consent cases, anything So we see examples of how when someone says you did something, it doesn't even have to be taken to court. And when it does, even if it is and it's being thrown out or settled or whatever, this person still doesn't get to go back to their livelihoods. And that's kind of my issue with this. And I really hope that they come to some type of conclusion, not for us as the listening public, but for their child. And I have to say, and this is a shout out to my mother, I knew how my mother felt about my father as I grew older. But I never heard my mother, even in anger, talk about my father. Never. And that probably helped. The issue that I'm having with my dad and with my mom sometimes, I think it would have been much harder for me to deal with had I had that in my ear. And I've seen parents who do that to their child, who sit up and have conversations with their child as if that's another grown person that they're talking to out that's not that person's child. And I've seen it happen. I've seen the bad mouthing happen. I've seen it kind of tear down at a child. And I've seen this happen to younger children, older children, and I've seen the results of it happening. And it really does, it doesn't do your child, you're not thinking about your child in that situation. You're thinking about your own personal feelings. And if a relationship doesn't work, don't let it work. You know, don't stick in there because you're thinking about your child and you don't want your child to not have two parents. If it's that toxic, let it go. And I think they were married for a little over 10 years. So I can just imagine what that child saw in that household. And we just watched the Bobby Brown video, and we'll talk about that in another segment. But I think I'm going to take a break now. So because one of our guests are actually here now. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BigExposedRadio.com.
It's the best of Cheryl Underwood Radio, starting now.
And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. Hey, we get that 6 from the Hill, that news you use from Judge Harry Sutherland, our favorite country lawyer. Have you like to weigh in on anything you've heard or want to say something to us? Give us a call at 1-855-SHERYL1 or email us at SherylUnderwoodRadio.com. Harry Sutherland.
This is Harry Sutherland, your favorite country lawyer with the word on the street. And the word on the street is Alan Dershowitz. He's a famous Harvard law professor and a famous criminal defense attorney, mostly known to defend a lot of celebrities. But anyway, he said that backing Donald Trump and supporting Donald Trump was actually worse than defending O.J. Simpson. Now, Alan Dershowitz, he has defended such people as, of course, O.J. Simpson, Claude Van Buller, Leona Hemsley, Michael Milken, and Mike Tyson. Now, the reason why he's saying that is because he's basically saying that when he was representing O.J. Simpson and Mike Tyson, people that was critical of him would actually sit down and discuss the issues with them and talk them through and have some type of dialogue. But with representing, I said, and supporting Donald Trump, people don't even want to talk to him. They won't dialogue with him. They won't have a conversation with them. They actually are trying to ban him from some of the social organizations that he's part of. So he got a good point. But to Alan Dershowitz, just be careful on who you associate yourself with. You know, same thing for anybody. So when you out here defending Donald Trump and he's actually out here spewing racism and division and separation, then that goes with the territory. So you're a grown man and you've been an attorney for a long time, so you know the consequences of your representation. But there you have it. This is Harry Sutherland, your favorite country lawyer with the word on the street. And coming up next is more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
It's the best of Cheryl Underwood Radio, starting now.
It's the jump off. Welcome to the Cheryl Underwood Show. Hot topics. We discussing anything. It's a go. We going live now. Got a favorite song calling to the show. Is he ready? Yep. 4, 3, 2, 1, here we go. You're now tuned to the Cheryl Underwood Show. Hot topics calling ash, what you want wanna know. 855 sure wanna number you could dial. Busy better bring it back. Request your favorite track. She playing all new music, the groove too. Indie artist, mainstream, whatever consumes you. Topic of discussion, voice opinions, no bluffing. Sure keep it real, show sugarcoat nothing. Download the app or your phone or your podcast. Never miss a show. Take Cheryl on the go. Ain't no other stations hanging with my girl toe to toe. Email us SherylUnderwood.com. Smart, funny, hit my girl changing the game. Ain't no other stations measure up the same. Turn it up, y'all. The girl at it again. It's a jump off. Welcome to the Cheryl Underwood Show. Hot topics. We discussing anything. It's a go. We going live now. Got a favorite song calling to the show. Is we ready? Yep. 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
That's what I'm talking about. Cheryl Underwood Radio in effect. Man, we had time off. Man, we refreshed and everything.
That was nice.
That's right. Our super producer, Vic Frost, the Iceman.
That was nice. That was
Did your thing, baby. Did your thing. Our favorite country lawyer, better known as Judge Harry Sutherland. All right.
Hear ye. I'm back and happy to be here.
Happy to be here and got some updates for us. 6 seconds from the hill. News you can use, word on the street, because we've been off for a while, but we want to catch you up on things. So you're going to hear us popping in and out because we want to catch you up. We've been off for a week. We went off for a little, and we're very refreshed. I'm very excited to be here. Courtney Black back with the facts.
You know that. I missed you guys.
I missed you too. I missed you so much. I follow you. I saw you and him walking in the rain.
Don't go looking at the closet. Don't go looking at the closet.
And Kyle and Courtney are going to work on our entertainment reports. Kyle Irby's our male rights activist.
Be a man at all times.
That's right. So we got entertainment updates. So we want you to check them out. And then we got the owner and proprietor of Sports Bar, who's out right now working on our sports updates for us, because when we go into the sports bar, it's where men come to talk and women come to eavesdrop. And I'm going to tell you something else. The phone lines are open, and as they light up from y'all language, we know that you missed us as much as we missed you. 1-855-SHERYL1 or email us at SherylUnderwoodRadio.com. Let's get to it. This is a full update show. You're listening to Cheryl Underwood Radio. And now it's time for Cheryl Underwood Radio's 60-second moment in music history. Give it to me, Tyrone Dubois.
For Cheryl Underwood Radio, I'm R&B historian Tyrone Dubois with a 60-second moment in music history. Since her solo career began in 1970, Diana Ross had 18 top 10 singles and 5 went to number 1 on the national R&B charts. However, on the pop charts, 6 singles went to number 1. Songs like Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Love Hangover, and Missing You hit the top of the charts. However, in her entire career, she only had 1 gold and 1 platinum single. The song Upside Down was her only gold single in 1980, and a year later, her only platinum single was Endless Love with Lionel Richie in the year of 1981. It spent 9 weeks at number 1 on the pop charts. Her last top 10 single was with I'll Be Sure in the year of 1991 called No Matter What You Do. Diana Ross, one of the greatest R&B singers in history. I'm America's R&B historian Tyrone Dubois for Cheryl Underwood Radio.
It's the best of Cheryl Underwood Radio, starting now.
And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. So, Harry Sutherland giving us that 60 seconds from the hill.
This is Harry Sutherland, your favorite country lawyer, with the word on the street. And the word on the street is thousands of demonstrators and protesters in the city of Chicago shut down the Dan Ryan Expressway, calling on elected officials to address gun violence in the city of Chicago. I think that's a great idea when protesters are coming out and saying enough is enough, and they want to have these issues addressed. Mayor Emanuel supported the protesters and demonstrators and stood with them as they actually, marched and protest to address these issues, trying to call for the elected officials to stand up. However, Governor Roner, he actually objected to Emanuel's support of the protest, saying that he was disappointed in the fact that Mayor Emanuel would actually support protesters. I mean, this don't make any sense. The protesters were actually peaceful and had a peaceful demonstration, and the whole thing went off successfully with no issues. And And I just want to applaud Chicago Mayor Emanuel for standing up, because sometimes when you stand up, people talk about you. When you don't do nothing, people talk about you. So I want to applaud Chicago Mayor Emanuel for taking a stand and standing with these demonstrators who saying enough is enough with this gun violence in the city of Chicago. Again, this is Harry Sutherland, your favorite country lawyer with the word on the street. We're going to bring up more about this issue going on with the gun violence issue and the protests in the city of Chicago. More on Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Check out what you missed on the Be Inspired Radio Show.
3 years doing anything, especially when you're like a fish out of water, when you start something and doing something like radio or media or anything like this. Congratulations.
Thank you, babe. Thank you.
That's not easy to do.
Appreciate it. Yes. It's been quite a journey, I would say, and it's been like the butterfly effect. We started out in this cocoon, if you will, with the show, and then just blossomed in 3 years. And yes, definitely went through some transitions, still going through some transitions right now. But in the end, I just feel like it was so worth it.
Yeah, you've grown a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started out well, but like seeing you blossom as the radio host and seeing you blossom as the the public speaker, the author, you've gone through a lot of changes.
Right.
Since you've been here, like in the last 3 years.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's been a metamorphosis.
Yeah, that's the word I was trying. I was like, it's not metaphor. It's metaphor. Okay, got you.
When you're changing and transitioning.
Yeah.
Tune in to Be Inspired Radio, Wednesdays 7 to 9, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
So, Jacqueline. Yes, Mom? I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait, hold on. I just got a text. Oh, there's another one. Wow. Busy me. So, anyway...
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. My friends keep commenting on my comment. Oh, there's another one. So many comments on my comment.
Oh, I can't wait to watch TV tonight. Playoffs!
Hey guys, check out my new video game. Pew, pew. Wait, Mom, what? Huh?
What? Hold
What'd you say? Wait a second, what?
This weekend, unplug. Take your family to the forest. There's nothing in the world like experiencing nature firsthand. Trees, paths, bluebirds, streams. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
We back on. Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. In the building with me, celebrating Miss Tide, the diva. Now, I love you. I'm gonna say I love you because I follow you on Instagram, and I'm not a stalker, but I'm kind of at 35, kind of reimagining and restructuring who I am as a person. And I remember when we first met, you really threw me off because you're so out there, and I've seen other individuals like you, but it was raunchy. It wasn't tasteful. I remember this conversation. It didn't have a foundation for it. And I'm at a place right now where I'm just letting it all out, and I'm not really worried about what people are seeing, what they're saying. And I'm kind of in a way following your lead. Now I've been nude on stage.
Go ahead, bro.
I've been nude on stage. I got paid for it, baby. Thank you. But it's really following your direction because you started this project maybe like 2.5 years ago or so.
3.5
years where you were just putting it out there and was being very unapologetic about how you were putting it out there and what people had to say. And I saw some of them comments. That's what made me reach out to you initially because I saw the comments on both sides like, oh, that is too much. What is she talking about? These things have happened to you. Well, these are why things are happening to you. And I saw all of that and it broke my heart because people don't realize I gotta get literally naked in front of myself to even begin to rebuild. You can't hide things. And as an artist, you have to clear the slate to start building things on. So I remember talking to you before, and I don't think you had body issues, but you had issues with touch and feel and how other people touched and feel and all those things. I remember the conversation. So I really I really kind of re-established myself creatively based on like that conversation. Because at that point when we talked first, I was ready to let everything go. I was ready to go be somebody's manager at Popeyes and eat myself to a crispy chicken
You
death.
better shut it up.
And let it go because I just got I got tired of it. You get creatively, you get tired and bent out of shape of having to please everybody. So let us know where you've been at. First of all, this is Glass 2.5.
Hey.
And it's about to get real.
First of all, we
This
live in
last
life,
hour.
so I'm not gonna apologize for anything.
I'm just disclaimer.
I'm just friendly disclaimer to all. But yeah, just to piggyback off of what you're saying, when we first came together, I didn't have image issues. I had intimacy issues.
Right, touch.
Yeah, I had issues with displaying and receiving affection. And
are you a Gemini?
No, I'm an Aquarius type 2 actually. Yes. And
it's like we've been raised in the same household.
well, and you know, I think being an Aquarius is one of the reasons why I felt shameless when it came to the type of exposure that I was given. I knew what I was doing. I knew what I needed to do for myself in order for me to be able to view myself a particular way. I was trying to figure out how to feel beautiful again.
When did you connect your talents to that healing?
I think when I was strong enough to actually get out of the house following depression, following my bout of agoraphobia.
And that's being out in front of people.
Yeah. So agoraphobia is the fear of exiting a confined space due to being attacked, being harmed, being traumatized, or things like that.
People don't know that's a real thing.
It's a real fucking thing.
Like if that happened to you, even on the other extreme, if you was in an accident, like being in that confined space could be
it will
jarring.
fuck you up.
Yeah.
I was in a situation where I just did not want to leave my home because I didn't want to be attacked again. I didn't want to be hurt again. I didn't want anything to happen to me anymore. And when I was getting strong enough to recognize that I was ready to make some changes, that I was ready to do some work and start healing myself, it only felt natural to infuse my love, my first love, into my process.
Because you had walked away from dance for a second.
Yeah, I did. And that was, you know, just like, you are an artist. You know this shit is real, okay? And you know that throughout your childhood, throughout your training.
I have rehearsal.
Okay?
That's a statement.
But then following that is going to be, I have to go to my day job because I didn't get the job in the art world that I fucking want. So.
Well, no, I got both of the jobs, but that art job
it's just not enough, right? So I got to figure out some other things. And, but yeah, so I was just, I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I needed to figure out how I could take the one thing that I could connect with that would make me feel like a woman again. What can I do? How can I use this? How can I put it into some type of structure where it's going to pull me out of what I'm being sunken into? And I had to think about that. This is the third time I've restructured my workshop. But yeah, it was a fucking mess.
And how many times has it been because of, and I don't like pointing fingers, but sometimes you gotta tell the whole truth. Hashtag Bobby Brown story.
That was a horror. Oh, I love it. It's so trashy. I love it. When him and Whitney are in that goddamn.
But we saw. I think that was so real because we saw that.
Oh yeah.
That was a moment that we physically saw on TV.
That was gorgeous.
But I have issues because I told the story about how my aunt called me one day, and out of the blue last year. And I love my aunt because we were raised more like brother and sister. And she said, Nate, I'm really proud of you, all that you're doing. She said, you had to deal with a lot and you've had to overcome so much. I'm really proud of you. Now, I didn't hear nothing after I'm proud of you. Because all I heard in my mind was you saw me going through.
And where did you step in?
You saw me fall down. And you didn't say anything. You didn't touch my leg and say it's going to be good. You didn't do any of these things, and you let it happen. And I'm not blaming my aunt,
Mhm.
but what I'm saying is, people see you falling apart.
Mhm.
We see the Whitney, we see we see these things falling apart, and nobody steps in.
You know why? One thing that I have grown to realize is that when you are, this is something I'm realizing as I'm growing into a public figure, but hate
When
that
you are a
fucking
public
term.
figure.
So fucking presumptuous. Anyway, but I've grown to realize that when you serve as a certain type of energy in someone's life, they don't give a fuck when you're going through shit. They're not going to
'Cause
care.
they like this.
Right. Because you know why? And on top of that, you serve a very specific purpose in their life. You're supposed to bring them joy. You're supposed to bring them sunshine. So when the real shit happens
When
and
the
you're
shoulder needs a shoulder.
transparent about it, you're being honest about it and reaching out, it's uncomfortable for a lot of people.
Right.
Because they do not care. They really just don't. They don't. Especially within our community.
Because
So-
one, and I'll say this, and like you said, because you have a place in their life, but it is sad because we're at a place where they are broken, so they can't give us what they haven't been given.
And then on top of that, they're vultures. You know, they're vultures. They pounce, okay? And the moment that they scroll through their timeline and they see that one post or that one picture that is displaying to the world that you are human, that you fuck up, that you have feelings, that shit hurts, then that's when the...
And open about it.
Right. That's when the feelings of discomfort come into place. Because I'm not your vitamin at that point. You know, I'm not your sunshine. I'm not your pill. I'm not the thing that you can take. I'm not the, girl that you can look at and be like, well, damn, her titties is out. Let me smile.
Right.
Okay?
And I, when I say that was the bulk of the comment, I saw a lot of positive comments from people, but I saw a lot of people attacking you because they were uncomfortable. And often what I've learned is they were uncomfortable with themselves.
Oh, yes. See, one of the things that I have been telling I have the most amazing little intern right now. She's been with me since she was 13. She is my firstborn. But one of the things that I share with her and other young women who I teach is that it's not that they have a problem with you. It's not that they hate you. They hate the quality about you that they don't possess. They hate the strength, the courage, the bravery that you have that allows for you to be yourself that they don't have. It's not a personal problem.
How many times have you shrunken yourself to overcompensate for that from other people? And it really is a real thing. I've had myself where I've shrunken myself, and I've watched other people shrink themselves to accommodate the insecurities of others.
More times than I'd probably care to admit. And it probably had a lot to do with the fact that I was building a business, building a brand, trying to please people, trying to appease folks who I think would be supportive. And then, you get to a point where you be like, fuck everybody. This shit is...
Can you see the patterns in people now? Because eventually you see it, but can you see it now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm a reader. Oh, I'm a reader. And so also the other thing that has happened over the last few years is that my, I hate saying this as well, but my skills, my empath skills have increased. Because I really have been, I've been fooling around with a lot of spirituality, self-discovery, and trying to figure out where I'm at and get in where the fuck I fit in. And with my studies, I have realized that I'm a lot more intuitive than I thought I was. And
you spent a lot more time being quiet.
Right. And that is, I just had this conversation with my business partner a few weeks ago, but that's because I was forced for a really long time to enjoy my seclusion because I was the girl that got raped. And nobody wants to deal with that. That's messy. Nobody wants to be your friend. You know, your family wants you to keep it quiet because they want to save face like we do in the black families.
Was it a familiar person? I don't remember asking that.
You mean the attacker? No, I did not know who he was. He was some random white man. We still don't have any information about him. No prints were able, you know, to determine anything. No DNA.
Hold on. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to fill up our cups again.
Yes, child.
On the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BigExposedRadio.com. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's the best of Cheryl Underwood Radio, starting now.
And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. Hey, it's time for our HBCU shout out. Who you shouting out today, Courtney Black?
I'm shouting out Prairie View A&M University in Prairie View, Texas.
Yeah, we love Prairie View. All right, Vic Frost, who you shout out today?
I gotta go to Maryland and shout out Bowie State.
Yeah. All right, who you shouting out, Kyle Irving?
I'm staying in Maryland. You know who the first black coach in the NFL was? Cheryl Underwood.
Arthur Shales.
That's right. And he went to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore.
Did he coach the Raiders?
He sure did. LA Raiders is why I'm a fan.
That's what I'm talking about. Harry Sutherland, who you shout out?
I'm going to stay home in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I want to shout out Fayetteville State University.
Yeah.
The Broncos.
That's what I'm saying. And I'd like to shout out all 21 affiliates of Cheryl Underwood Radio that are on HBCU. Yeah. And why do we shout out HBCUs on Cheryl Underwood Radio? Because black history is American history. But you don't have to be black to get a quality education at a HBCU. We'll be right back with Cheryl Underwood Radio. Now it's time for Warren Valentine's Tell Me Something You Don't Know.
Thank you, Cheryl. This is Warren Valentine with Cheryl Underwood Radio, and I'm going to tell you something you may not know. Well, Mueller has come out and indicted more people in Russia, including members who are very close to Vladimir Putin, generals, and others. Well, although none of these people will ever be arrested or tried in America, the reason was to allow President Trump, during his visit, to be able to say, look, we have the evidence. You tampered in our elections. Will you make sure this doesn't happen again? Now, will President Trump go there? I don't know. But if he doesn't, we all have to start asking ourselves, why not? Also, in Chicago, Father Pfleger held a huge rally, shut down the Dan Ryan in protest of killings. Well, this past weekend, 41 people shot, 7 killed, and a cop killed an unarmed man who was a barber just walking across the street from his job. It is time for us to change the laws in this country. Whether you're talking about child support or criminal, the justice system is being used to murder and crucify people who are poor, who are brown, and who are black. And hopefully the poor, the brown, and the black will come together and say enough is enough. I'm Warren Valentine, and I hope I told you something you didn't know right here on Cheryl Underwood Radio.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Really hard to get that industry success, to get that industry support, and now where they are. Right.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. I don't have my watch, but I think I'm gonna say this one. This is home of the Cheryl Underwood weekdays mornings at 10 a.m. Tune in to the Be Exposed Radio station, and you'll hear the Cheryl Underwood. We're now in syndication. You can also go to our website www.beexposedradio.com, and you can pull down the information on our syndicated tab, and you'll see all the shows, all the platforms that we are live streaming on, as well as where you can find our show. It may be one of the apps that you already use, so definitely take part in that. With me, I got Miss Tide, the diva. And if you didn't know, she's a ballerina.
I am.
A dancer in general, but her focus was in ballet.
Yes, honey.
Is in ballet. She's the thick ballerina.
Not so much.
Curvy ballerina. I said the curvy ballerina.
Not so much thick right now these days. I got this cute little Barbie body I'm trying to hold on to. Can't make no promises because I'm like to get juicy.
Yeah. Eating is definitely what an artist has to hold on
listen,
to.
I gained 2 pounds this week. I was in that mirror shaking. I was in there just, okay, girl, go ahead. Just happy. I think I look good at all stages. I don't give a fuck.
You have, and I said this to myself. I said this to my nutritionist, and she was a little white lady, and she just kept saying to me, like, you'd be so much happier if you just. I said, well, I'm happy right now.
Yeah.
I want to make sure my health is intact. I want to make sure I'm here as long as I could possibly be here and comfortable without illness. But I'm happy.
Let me ask you this. How many situations have you had where you've been naked in front of somebody and they've told you to put your clothes back on?
Oh, well, I don't have that problem.
That's what the fuck I'm saying. If nobody has had that problem, why do I have to make aesthetic changes to please your eye?
Yeah. Because you don't like it, but I
love it.
I'm no matter what size I ever was. When I was young and I was smaller, and now I'm heavy. My body doesn't define, and I find people who are threatened by that. Not just my size, but who I am as a person. And I found myself watering down who I was, not to necessarily be liked or to make myself comfortable around people, but to make people comfortable around me. So who I am, Nate always had to be the quiet one. He always sat in the back. He made everything go and work, and he worked hard. But I had to realize I was dumbing who I was down.
Watering yourself.
Yeah, to make other people feel comfortable about themselves. And that's dangerous. So for you putting it out there, and it hasn't, and I say that because I've met people like you who it just screams raunchy to me. And they were screaming for the attention. I didn't feel that from yours. And maybe I was wrong, but I didn't feel that.
That was not my intention. And I think more so than anything, it was a step in just my process of regaining and reclaiming confidence and space.
Right.
Throughout my journey, I had outgrown just looking at photos of myself.
Okay.
Now I was at a point where I was interested in utilizing other platforms that were going to help me look at myself in different ways then. So it's never been about attention for me. Jeez. It's never been about attention for me. It's been more so about trying to create a network for individuals out there struggling like me. I knew that if I was able to, and not saying that, and I say this all the time, I'm not the answer lady to nothing. I'm not fucking Superwoman, okay?
This is just your perspective.
This is what I found to work for me. If it's working for me, it might work for you too. I'm not making any promises. But one of the main reasons why I wound up sharing my story was because people weren't letting me be myself. They weren't letting me utilize the platform the way that I thought I wanted to use it in order for me to heal. I wanted to see my images on something and be able to scroll through them surprisingly and be like, damn, okay. You know, I had grew past a point where, listen, I had spent my time in the hospital, okay? I had spent my time going back and forth to Howard County precincts for investigations. I had spent my time being grilled, okay? Then I had spent my time following up on a case that nobody gave a fuck about, all right? And then after that, it was my time to figure out what I was gonna do. And I grew to this point where, you know, one of the first things I did when I was strong enough, I started taking pictures of myself. I had to trick myself. I had to recondition my brain to be able to look at myself and say, God damn it, you are beautiful. So I had to go through this whole exercise where I would basically have to pick out a body part, and I would have to say 3 nice things about that body part to myself, and I would have to say what I loved about it.
Now, prior to the attack, did you have those issues?
Hell fucking no. I was the bad bitch walking around them streets. Okay. Now, what I will say, admittedly, I do believe that for a long time I did have emotional issues throughout high school, and my father can attest to this, but throughout high school I did have emotional issues. I was diagnosed with manic depression, And but other than that, you know, I was okay. You know, I had my mood swings when I had mood swings, and then I would be sad when I'd be sad. But other than that, I was okay.
So the attack made you. I was just sent. You know how when I came from a really small elementary school and middle school, and they both times I know everybody that went there that I was there with, and it was crazy because they're starting to. You know how people find pictures and they send them to you. Somebody sent me a picture of me at my 8th grade graduation. And I'm going to tell you, I had to look at this picture for about 10 minutes because I did not recognize myself. And that brought on an insecurity that I forgot. Well, I don't have body issues. Because like I said, people, I take my clothes off in front of.
They fucking with it.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But I remember having to look because I had one because you get older, so you get accustomed to what you look like now. And I'm looking at this photo and I don't recognize this person. And I'm saying to myself, who is this? And then at the second thought was, this ain't me. And then as I looked and I started to see myself in that photo. And when trauma happens, because this is your reaction was to trauma, and then you begin to look at yourself differently. Like, what is it about me? And then you start picking yourself apart. Well, oh my God, my eyes are a little different. You know, my teeth is not straight enough, or this body part, this titty's laying down lower than that one. I'm a man with boobs. Like, things start sticking out to you that did not necessarily stick out to you before, because that's just who you were. Because now you need to find fault. And because you can't find fault on this side, that's obvious fault, but the blame starts to shift. Like, what did I do? Was that how trauma hit you, or was it you just start seeing yourself every day differently?
I literally would look in the mirror and I couldn't recognize myself. And that was because I was allowing myself to grow into something that was a lifeless shell of a woman. So I went through this period where every time I looked in the mirror, I just didn't look the way that I was used to looking. I could not recognize the person who was looking back at me. And it was an eye-opener. Because for a while, I ignored that because I just didn't care about anything.
Now, you said at some point you took down all the mirrors, or you covered them up?
Hell yeah! Oh, my mother was pissed, child. Oh, she was pissed because when I left the hospital, I went to her house and I stayed with her for about a year. No, longer than that. I wound up staying with her longer than that. Maybe 2 years. Oh, but one day she came home and it was nothing. If I could see my reflection, it was out of there.
Oh, really?
It was out of there. Like, at one point, we were living in Woodlawn at that point, I think. She came home, all of the mirrors had been covered. Yeah. If it was a photo and I could walk past it and see my reflection, I would turn it down. It was just a very brutal period of self-disgust and self-hate.
We'll take another quick commercial break. We're going to pay some bills. We'll be right back with the tide of it all. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. It really is...
It's the best of Cheryl Underwood Radio, starting now.
And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. Hey, we're talking a little entertainment. After this, we're going to go into the sports bar where men come to talk and women come to eavesdrop. Kyle Irby's going to hold it down because Jim is having his anniversary time, but he wants to break away like all men do from the wife.
Absolutely.
And he will be dropping in for a sports update from an undisclosed location. He's probably drinking a fruity drink with an umbrella in it. So right now, we're talking entertainment. Kyle Irby, you say what?
Cheryl Underwood, some guys have all the love.
Some guys have all the love.
That's a good song. Rod Stewart.
Y'all know the words. We don't know the words.
do nothing but
Wait a minute, somebody just text messaged me and said, y'all so wrong. Y'all play all them other songs that we don't know.
Vic, do you have some guys have all the luck?
And when Jim ain't here, you don't play the white music?
Right.
Racism.
In memory of Jim.
Yeah, he's not
He
dead.
ain't dead. Doggone it.
No, he's not.
Doggone it.
Anyway,
Doggone it.
some guys have all the luck. You know who got all the luck?
Who?
George Clooney.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, when he had the motorcycle
He had
accident?
the motorcycle accident last week.
Oh,
They
the
showed the
Vespa.
video where he got thrown from the motorcycle.
It was a scooter,
Yeah.
but it was my understanding that the Vespa, is that what it is?
Sure, Vespa.
And I thought he also is a
by the way,
spokesman for this.
It's all the pain. Izzy, it's luck, pain, breaks, complain. Rod Stewart.
Okay, so but this is the other thing too. Is also my understanding. I thought the car didn't it swerve out or hit?
Yes.
Okay.
Mercedes swerved out and hit the Vespa.
Yeah.
Vesta.
And
he survived it. But you know good and well.
Is Vesta?
I don't know what it is.
It's a Vespa.
Oh, I'm sorry because I thought the thing about Vesta.
Vesta Williams.
Yeah.
Vesta.
Like Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Vespa movie Spaceballs.
What?
Princess Vespa.
You found the song?
Yeah, Vesta was in there.
Yeah. Hey, don't talk about we not inclusive and diverse on Charlotte Radio.
Sorry, Jim. I wish you were here, buddy.
That's right.
Sorry, Jim.
Love Jim.
Yeah, the one time we played the song, you might know. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I feel sorry for Jim. I feel bad. I really feel bad.
But I want to know, was there a guy or girl at your school that just had it all? Because George Clooney seems to have it all.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, was there a guy at your school or a girl, or were you that person?
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Like, go and only deal with what is in front of you. And that was heartbreaking because then you have to let go of things that aren't naturally of you. Or things that are really close to you.
But you know what though?
We're back, by the way.
You're allowed to process whatever it is.
But we don't often think that.
Yeah, but that's okay because we are our most toughest critics. So we're not going to be okay with the fact that we are going through things and we need to allow for a process to happen so we can get over that shit.
Go ahead.
But
He's in my ear.
I know I could hear it. But you know what, one thing that I'm learning is that we have to be kinder to ourselves. We have to be gentler with ourselves, and we have to be more forgiving with ourselves.
That's the biggest one, forgiving. Because our imperfections can often be blown out of proportion when it comes to ourselves. And we're quick to forgive somebody else.
That is true, and that is something that that's something that I'm still personally dealing with. From time to time, I will find myself in a moment where I'll go, why didn't I do something different that night? Why didn't I do something different? Why didn't I stay where I was later? Why didn't I make a stop here before I went there? You know, why, when I got out of the car, why didn't I why didn't I?
I just came to say hello.
Hey, pull up a chair.
Happy anniversary.
How you feeling?
How's it going? You can pull up a chair.
Yeah, come on and sit. You got stuff to do?
Put that stuff in that chair.
I ain't got nothing to do.
How's my boo?
I got the trout with me. They can come in.
Yeah.
Well, not yet, but you can just pull that chair up.
This right here?
Yeah.
But yeah, I have moments from time to time where I'm like, could I have prevented this? Could I have done anything differently? Could I have and I always, and this is how you know that healing is not a linear process. This is how you know that forgiveness of self is not a linear process.
Right.
Next month is going to be 6 years that it occurred. I am still saying to myself, why did I have my fucking headphones in when I got out of the car? Why was I so busy in my trunk when I got out of the car that I was not paying attention to my surroundings? I don't think that that's something that's ever going to go away. However, I do not blame myself. I know I didn't do anything to make a man target me, you know? So
can you, and without, I'm not gonna say without emotion, can you go back to that moment and kind of give us a overall of it?
So I was, this is 2012, October 2012.
We'll get you a cup.
We like sharing.
Put it down on the.
Oh yeah, protect that name. But at this time, I was working for a medical office in Westminster, and during this time, I remember being so excited because I felt like I was about to enter into a new chapter into my life. I was about to move. I was dating somebody. We were going to get married. All of this other stuff. And I think I had just grown comfortable. I had just got comfortable. I was coming home one night, and this was the time I was staying with my mother because I was about to move. And I'm coming home one night. I have my head, and I don't even know why I'm in the car with my headphones on. I'm not talking to anybody. It's not like it was a hands-free call. I'm literally listening to music in my car with a working station, a stereo, everything. And I'm literally listening to music with these headphones in. I parked my car in the complex, and I remember there being a letter going out maybe a month or two prior talking about be careful in the complex. You know, it's very dark. It's a heavily...
In your complex?
In my complex, yeah. Heavily wooded area, you know. It was just dark. And I got out of my car. I never looked around. I was just so comfortable living there. I never checked my surroundings. I never did anything. I went right to my trunk, got all of my bags out, everything. And before I knew it, I had got hit over my head. And I remember this feeling of falling forward into the trunk, like I was about to fall into the trunk. But then I got hit again. And then dragged into the woods. I can honestly say there was not much struggle on my part.
Because it was out of,
I was so shocked, and I still hadn't seen who had hit me. I'm being dragged into the woods by my hair. Somebody's behind me. And when you get hit in the head that hard, the amount of discombobulation that you are dealing with is unexplainable. Like is it unexplainable or inexplainable? One of them motherfuckers, because you know what? Grammar is a European construct, and I can say whatever the fuck I want. So, but I remember being so limp from being so hurt from being hit that it was like trying to shock my body into making my legs work. Nothing was happening. When he got me to where he wanted me to be and he started doing what he was doing, I passed out. I think it was because of the fear, the pain, the shock, knowing what he was about to do to me too. And I think subconsciously, my body just said, bitch, let me take you out for a minute. Let me just take you out of this for a minute.
That shock, your body was in shock. You could have been fully awake and still like that.
Out of it.
We're gonna take a quick break. Wow. First of all, things have got to change because time is time and it goes so fast. But we're actually done. It's 4 o'clock. So thank you all for tuning in. We're gonna talk a little bit more. I'm gonna probably try to set up my live so we can talk a little bit more. But thank you both for coming down. I appreciate you. We're gonna definitely talk a little bit more. This has been the Artist Exchange Radio Show. 5 years.
Congratulations, boo.
And I'm still waiting on them paychecks.
Me, you, and everybody motherfucking else.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Artist Exchange Radio Show. I'll see you Monday, same time.
Peace.
Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Starts now. It's the best of Cheryl Underwood Radio, starting now.
And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. Hey, we're talking a little entertainment, and Kyle and Courtney, you both have prepared us an entertainment update.
Yes, Cheryl, we do. First of all, Drake is back with Scorpion. As you guys